Hi, Stephen from Alcohol Free Lifestyle, yet again. Good to see you all. I'm just going to run through a typical day. I call it the day in the life of an alcoholic. When I drank moderately, I was fine. When I drank heavily, I was fine. And I don't know when I turned into an alcoholic, to be fair. But a typical day would be torture, basically. Wake up late, having night sweats all night, and bedding was soaking wet. Hadn't had much to eat. Terrible headaches, nausea, coughing up bile all the time. So I never drank any spirits or wine, but the last few years I was drinking very heavily. I used to drink cider because it was easier to stomach, as it were, initially. So I'd get up about 10, half 10, sit on the edge of the bed, cut the glass of cider, try and get myself pulled together a bit, try and have a wash. Midday, I never felt hungry. Maybe cough up the first glass of cider because it was cold on my stomach. Just looked horrific, totally pale, washed out. Hair wasn't cut or anything like that. It was just terrible. Clothes hadn't been washed. I mean, from what I'd been doing in central London, it was a totally different world where I got to the alcoholic stage, you know. Then I would struggle to try and have a toast or something. Invariably that would just make me feel sick, ill again. I'd just sit in the flat and look out the window at the world going by, to be honest, and just think about what I had in life before I started to drink heavily. Just wished that I'd stopped earlier, but I couldn't stop earlier because I tried numerous times and failed and relapsed. But that's why you've got to keep going, you know, keep trying to get sober. So I'd get myself eventually just in some sort of semblance of order, get something to wear, and sit for a couple more hours till about 5 o'clock, which I thought was a reasonable time to go to the pub. And I'd get a taxi. I couldn't walk very well, so I staggered to the front door of the block of flats. Get a taxi to the high street, and I just carry this black rucksack. And I always used to think, well, I need some supply for the next day. So I'd get a couple of bottles of this cider, plastic bottles of cider, you know, the type of stuff. There's no apples in it, it's just chemicals in it. I thought, well, that's my supply for the next day. I started to the pub and see a few of the local heavy drinkers, as it were, in there, and then sit there and try and feel a little bit better. Sometimes I felt a little bit better when I'd had a couple of pints of lager or something, or the odd pint of Guinness I used to drink now and again as well, thinking that it would do me good, naively. So I'd probably sit there for a couple more hours, feel a little bit better than I had before. Never felt merry or anything. I wasn't drinking to get the feeling of euphoria, as in, you know, years gone by. I was just drinking to stay alive, to be fair. And then 10 o'clock would come, half 10, 11 o'clock, the last bell would go, that sort of thing. Have another pint, ring up a local taxi firm, get back home, and I'd have some more cider, sit and watch some nonsense on TV, try and have a bite with me, tin of soup or something. That was pretty horrendous. I never really had a proper meal for months and months, and thought I'd lose weight, and I got lots of medical problems which I've gone into in some other videos. So my day was just the same every day, just trying to survive, and felt a bit sorry for myself, a bit depressed, didn't keep in touch with my family particularly, and it just got worse and worse and worse. In the day, I was sort of semi-existing, really. I thought sometimes I should be better off dead. I would be better off dead, because I didn't have a life. It was just my apartment to the booze. I didn't even have the energy to clean up or anything, or any washing in, or look after myself. You know, you get to a point where you're in despair, to be fair, and then eventually I had to go to hospital because of medical issues, and I've turned my life around. You can do it, you know, from being right at the bottom of the bottle, where you're completely and utterly knackered, should we say. You can't do anything, you're not eating properly, you're not exercising, you're just barely existing. You can turn your life around, and it can be done with a lot of willpower, some guidance, and a strong heart and a strong brain. I didn't have a lot of help from anybody else. Medically, I'd got some help, obviously, but I was dependent on it. 90% of heavy drinkers aren't physically or chemically dependent on alcohol, so you can give up. But the relapse was the problem with me, and I found out later that even though I'd been sober for many years prior, that hadn't done me any good, because once you relapse, then your system breaks down again, but it breaks down in a more severe way. So keep an eye on that. But if you've got any stories, then please leave me a comment, or you can drop me an email. Actually, my email address is in the description part of the profile page. It'd be interesting to get some more takes on this, how people got to a level of alcoholic, and how people survived, and we're trying to build this community and help each other, really. I never thought about going into this sort of thing when I was having issues. I just used to get to the doctors, and the doctors would basically send me to these places where there was chat groups and whatnot. I tried the AA, that was no good for me. So it's a sort of self-help thing, isn't it? So if you've got any comments, as I say, drop me a line. If you like the channel, please subscribe, and I'll speak to you all soon.